finding a way at a job you maybe don't even love. Bonsu wants us to be more like what? Creating value.
More like becoming a modern-day Renaissance person, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's all about diversifying income.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also always learning new things and even taking risks, but smart ones.
Exactly. It's not just about the money itself. It's about building skills and like this mindset where you can spot opportunities other people might miss.
So less about following a set path and more about being able to adapt. That actually reminds me of someone I know. They started selling handmade jewelry online as a hobby, and now it's a full-blown business. Maybe Bonsu would approve.
Oh, totally. He'd say, your friend is tapping into the creator economy. And he's got a whole bunch of other ways to make money that go way beyond the typical 9 to 5.
Like, I saw something about making money from gaming.
Right? He spends a lot of time talking about betting and gaming.
Seriously.
Now, he's not saying to just gamble all your money away, but he does point out how much skill is involved in like professional esports.
Oh, yeah.
And even sports betting, especially when it's legal and regulated.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I know esports are huge these days, so I guess it makes sense that some people are making serious money from it.
Exactly. And Bonsu even mentions a few pro gamers who have won millions of dollars from tournaments.
Wow.
It goes back to his point about always learning new things. You know, staying up to date on the latest trends, that's often where the best opportunities are hidden.
So it's not about picking one thing and sticking with it no matter what. It's about always evolving and adapting. I like that. So besides pro gaming, what else does Bonsu suggest?
Well, he talks a lot about investing. He compares things like day trading, which is super risky, but could have a big payoff, to slower but potentially steadier growth with things like index funds and real estate. And of course, no talk about finances in 2025 would be complete without mentioning cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah, crypto.
Yeah.
You either strike it rich or lose everything.
Right.
Or at least that's what I've heard.
Well, Bonsu acknowledges both how appealing crypto is and how unpredictable it can be. He really emphasizes understanding the market and having a clear strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, honestly, that applies to any type of investing.
True. So we've got high-stakes gaming and potentially lucrative but risky investing. What about something a bit more, I don't know, down to earth?
Bonsu talks about that too. Remember your friend with the jewelry business?
Yeah.
He really highlights the whole creator economy. Selling digital products, creating online courses, anything where you're basically turning what you know into income.
Interesting. I'll have to tell her she got a shout out from a financial guru.
Yeah.
But seriously, the creator economy stuff seems like something anyone could try, even someone like me who's not super techie.
Right. That's part of what makes it so appealing. And Bonsu doesn't stop there. He's a big fan of passive income.
Passive income.
It's the idea of setting up systems that generate income even when you're not actively working.
Okay.
Think affiliate marketing, dividend investing, even things like royalties from creative work.
Wow, that's the dream, right? Having your money work for you instead of the other way around.
Exactly. Though Bonsu is realistic about it, he makes it clear that building those passive income streams takes effort up front.
I can imagine.
It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that's a theme that comes up again and again in his ideas.
So even when he's talking about betting on esports, it's not about just getting lucky, it's about having a solid strategy.
Exactly. And it's about diversifying, not putting all your eggs in one basket. He suggests some pretty unusual things too.
Like what?
Like peer-to-peer lending or even investing in collectibles. Things most people wouldn't think of as investments in the traditional sense.
So we've gone from side hustles to maybe owning a piece of a vintage comic book collection. That's quite a range.
And we haven't even gotten to his ideas about using AI for income yet. He's really pushing the boundaries on what financial freedom could look like in the near future.
Okay, AI is where I might need you to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
That stuff seems futuristic even for 2025.
Fair enough. Let's take a closer look at how Bonsu sees AI and technology fitting into all of this. It's actually more practical than you might think.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking about like building our own robots to do our work for us, right?
Not quite robots, but Bonsu's definitely thinking ahead. He talks about things like AI content creation, app development, even something called algorithmic trading. Basically using AI as a tool to create income streams and maybe even automate parts of a business.
So less about robots, more about super smart software that can handle stuff humans don't really need to.
Exactly. Like think about how some websites are already using AI to write basic articles.
Oh yeah.
Bonsu sees that expanding even more. People using AI to create content for their blogs, their marketing, maybe even books.
So instead of paying someone to write website copy, you can just have an AI do it. That's kind of cool, but also a little freaky.
It's definitely disruptive, which is something Bonsu talks about a lot. But he also believes that disruption creates opportunity. He even sees potential for AI to make art and music.
Really?
Which is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
So you're saying our future financial freedom could depend on knowing how to talk to an AI. That's a skill I need to work on.
Bonsu would agree with you there.
Yeah.
He's all about staying ahead of the curve when it comes to technology. But let's step back from the AI stuff for a minute. We've talked about making money, but what about holding on to it?
Right, making it last.
Bonsu has some interesting thoughts about building a legacy, too.
Yeah, he mentioned that before. It's not just about getting rich quick, but creating something that lasts.
Exactly. And he brings up one of those proverbs he likes. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. It's about building wealth that benefits not just you, but future generations too.
Okay, so less about yachts and fancy cars, more about setting up your family for success down the line. I like that.
And he's got actual strategies for it. Owning assets, of course, but also teaching financial literacy to future generations.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, don't just give them a bunch of money, teach them how to manage it and make it grow.
That makes a lot of sense. I wish someone had taught me that when I was younger. Any other legacy building tips from Bonsu?
Well, diversification is super important. And he also talks about reinvesting profits, not just spending everything you earn. He even suggests things like family trusts and estate planning, which I know can sound complicated, but it's all about protecting what you build.
It's like he's got a plan for every stage of the game, from hustling for your first dollar to making sure your great-grandkids benefit from your hard work.
That's Bonsu for you. And he brings it back to mindset too. Remember that proverb about not working yourself to death for wealth?
Yeah.
He's all about working smarter, not harder, and making sure your financial goals actually match up with what you care about.
So maybe it's not just about how MUCH money you make, but how you make it and what you do with it. That's actually pretty deep.
It is. And it brings us back to that whole mindset shift Bonsu wants us to make. It's not about chasing money for no reason. It's about using it as a tool to build the life you want for yourself and the people you care about.
We've covered a lot of ground here. From side hustles and AI to building a legacy that lasts for generations. It's almost overwhelming in a good way. Like Bonsu has opened up so many possibilities.
He really has, and we've only just scratched the surface. But before we get lost in all the different options, I think it's good to step back and ask, what's the main takeaway, the big idea Bonsu wants us to remember?
Good question. Out of all these different ideas, what's the core message?
Well, what really stands out to me is that Bonsu believes financial freedom in 2025 is about way more than just income. It's about embracing a whole new mindset, one that's adaptable, entrepreneurial, and always learning.
So it's not just about the specific ways to make money, but the how. Like the way we approach money and opportunity in general.
Yeah, exactly. He wants us to move past that old work for money mentality and start seeing ourselves as value creators, as problem solvers, as people who are constantly evolving and adapting to new situations.
That's a big ask.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's challenging us to redefine what work even means.
He is, and I think that's what makes his idea so interesting. He's not just giving us a bunch of get-rich-quick schemes, he's offering a whole new way of thinking about how to navigate the financial realities of the future.
But he is giving us a lot of specific ideas too, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, is there one that you think is especially relevant for someone trying to achieve financial freedom, let's say starting today?
That's a great question. And it's hard to choose just one, because it really depends on the person, their skills, and how much risk they're willing to take.
True. But if you had to point our listener in a certain direction based on what Bonsu talks about, what would it be?
Well, if you're looking for something that's relatively easy to get started with, doesn't require a lot of upfront investment, and taps into that creator mindset Bonsu keeps talking about, I'd say explore the creator economy.
The creator economy. We talked about it earlier, but it seems like the more we discuss Bonsu's ideas, the more that keeps coming up.
Exactly. It really embodies that shift away from traditional work. It's about using your unique knowledge and skills, building something valuable, and connecting directly with your audience. Bonsu would love it.
And it's not just about becoming some big social media star, right? There are so many different ways to be a creator.
Absolutely. Bonsu talks about writing ebooks, creating online courses, even offering coaching or consulting services based on your expertise. And the best part is the tools to do all of that are easier to access than ever before.
So you don't need a ton of money to get started. You don't necessarily need fancy degrees. It's more about having the right mindset and being willing to put in the effort.
Exactly. And remember how Bonsu emphasizes continuous learning. That's essential in the creator economy too. You got to stay up to date on the latest trends, new platforms, and always be improving your skills.
It's like he's saying, be curious, be adaptable, and never stop learning. That's good advice for life in general, not just finances.
Couldn't agree more. And that's what's so inspiring about Bonsu's work. He's not just giving us a step-by-step guide to financial success. He's offering a framework for living a more fulfilling and purposeful life.
Well said. I think that's a perfect takeaway for our deep dive today. It's not just about the money, it's about embracing a mindset of growth, creativity, and taking control of your own future.
And remember that proverb Bonsu shared, do not toil to acquire wealth, be discerning enough to desist. Work smarter, not harder, and make sure your choices align with what you value.
Awesome advice. So to everyone listening who's been checking out Bonsu's work, we hope this deep dive has given you some new ideas and maybe even inspired you. What resonated with you? Which of Bonsu's modern avenues are you most curious about?
Yeah.
Let us know.
And remember, the first step to financial freedom is often just changing how you think about money and opportunity. Bonsu has given you the tools. Now it's time to start building.
And that's a wrap for our deep dive today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the ideas that matter most to you.